If you do not see her past, it will become your fate. And what if love isn't a promise, but a carefully constructed illusion on ruins? And what if the heart you're trying to win is already inhabited by 1,000 silent ghosts? And what if everything you offer is judged, not by who you are, but by what she has already lost or allowed to be destroyed? What you love has the power to destroy you. Nietzsche. There is no experience in love, only a repetition of wounds disguised as desire. Clarice Lispector. We are made more of memories than of flesh. If so, have you ever had that feeling of being compared to something invisible? That no matter how much you try, no matter how much you give, no matter how much you love, there is something in her that never completely surrenders? As if you were only trying to rebuild what another man broke. As if she had lived too much, and by living too much, she had forgotten how to live with you. Maybe no one told you, but there is a weight that some relationships carry. A weight made of unburied pasts, unhealed traumas, and poorly digested desires. Most men don't see that weight until it's too late. And it's not because they are naive. It's because they were taught to love blindly, to give themselves without asking, to believe that the past doesn't matter as long as there is love. But what happens when love is not enough to compete with memories you didn't live? What happens when her smiles were trained to hide voids that are not yours, but which end up becoming your problem? What happens when the woman in front of you carries in her body and psyche the emotional and spiritual chemical remnants of all the men who touched her before you? This video is not an attack. It is an autopsy, an attempt to understand with the coldness of philosophy and the pain of experience why so many men get lost trying to save women who don't want to or can't be saved. We are going to explore the forbidden territory between romance and neuroscience, between depth psychology and modern nihilism. We're going to talk about what no one dares to say because it hurts too much to admit. You are not alone in the relationship. You are sharing the bed with the echoes of her past. And maybe, just maybe, that explains why you feel so alone. If you decide to continue, understand that this journey will not be comfortable, but it won't be empty either, because sometimes knowing the truth is the only way to survive love. From a young age, we are taught to dream of a love that endures everything, a love that welcomes, that understands, that forgives the unforgivable, an unconditional love. But no one tells you that this love, as they sell it to us, is not love. It is self-abandonment with a pretty name. You have surely heard this. It doesn't matter what she went through before you. What matters is the now. But what if that now is secretly being molded by everything that came before you? What if what you call love is actually a desperate attempt to heal wounds that another man left open and that she refuses to face? The past is not a dead place. It lives hidden in the silences, in the lost looks, in the disproportionate reactions. It's there when she shuts down for no reason, when she accuses you of something you never did. It's in the way she talks about her ex or in the way she avoids talking about him. It's in the comparison she swears she doesn't make. But that haunts you between the lines, the sex, the status, the emotion. No, the past doesn't stay in the past. It travels with her, it sleeps with you, it kisses you through her mouth. It's like an emotional tattoo made with a rusty needle. It can't be erased without bleeding. What they tell you is that true love accepts everything, but what they don't tell you is that this kind of love demands that you destroy yourself to fit inside someone who is already too full of memories, resentments, comparisons, and stories you didn't live, but which she insists on reliving with you. You think it's noble to say that you're going to be different, that you're going to treat her better than the others did. But that's not redemption, it's arrogance. Because no matter how much you try to be the right man, she may have been trained biologically, psychologically to love chaos, not peace. You are the silence she rejects after becoming addicted to explosions. You are the stability she calls boring after confusing pain with intensity. Love is the promise of what we never had, said in the voice of someone we will never forget. Anais Nin. That is the lie of unconditional love. The idea that love can survive without reciprocity, without a history, without a clean memory. But the human mind doesn't work that way. The woman who suffered, who betrayed, who was betrayed, who got lost 1,000 times, is not starting from scratch with you. She is handing you the final balance of a war you didn't fight, and most cruelly, she will charge you for the cure. She will expect you to rebuild her faith, trust, pleasure, and loyalty, but without giving you the same in return, because she doesn't see you as you are. She sees you as an opportunity to forget who she was. And that, my brother, is not love. This unconditional love that ignores the past, asks no questions, and accepts everything is the same love that will destroy you in silence. Because while you love the present, she remains trapped in the past. And in this game, only one person is truly living in the now. To love someone is to accept dying for who she already was. So you don't need to die, you need to wake up. Now there is something you need to know. Has it ever happened to you that just when you most need to stay calm, your mind collapses? That loss of control is not just emotional, it's mental. It occurs because most people were trained to feel before they think, to react before they observe. The problem is structural. No one taught us to train the mind like a muscle. That's why every small frustration becomes an explosion and every challenge an internal defeat. But there is a different way to operate, a structure based on neuroscience, applied philosophy, and silent mental techniques that reprogram your way of responding and put you back in charge. We recorded a video showing how that works in practice, step by step. If you want to watch it now, scan the code on the screen or click the link in the description or in the first pinned comment. There is a silent, almost imperceptible moment that goes unnoticed by most men. That instant when you look at her with all the freshness of a new beginning, and she looks at you with the weariness of someone who has been here before, you think you are building something unique. She knows she is only reliving a pattern. It's hard to accept, but you need to hear it clearly. You are not the first man to make her smile like that, nor will you be the last to make her cry. She has already been here, in this restaurant with another, in this bed with another, in this conversation where she swears she has never felt this way with anyone. But she has felt it. And even worse, maybe she felt it with more intensity than she feels with you. This is not about jealousy. It's about psychic truth. The soul registers, the body remembers, and the mind compares. Even when she says no, she is not just with you. She is with the memory of all the other men who made her feel something before you. You think you are the author, but often you are just a repeated character in a play she already knows by heart. We are made of stories we cannot forget and loves we cannot repeat. Albert Camus. And then you feel it, even without proof, that there is something absent in her, an absence full of invisible presences. She smiles but doesn't surrender. She makes love but doesn't merge. She says she loves you but holds back as if afraid of spending it all again. And you feel like you are being measured, weighed, evaluated under criteria that are not your own. He was more spontaneous. He made me laugh more. He took me to different places. She doesn't say it out loud, but she says it with her body, with her silences, with the unconscious comparison that floats in the air. And even if she denies it, you know it. You are being compared to ghosts. This is what no one says about modern relationships. It's no longer about connection, but about competition. You are not competing with other men. You are competing with chemical memories, with dopamine spikes, with the shiver she felt with another's touch that you can't replicate. The industry, the media, the popular advice says, don't be insecure, she's with you now. But being with you now doesn't erase where she has been before. The first time is the body, the rest are judgment. John Baudrillard. And judgment, my friend, is implacable. You can be more faithful than the ex, more patient, more careful, but if you don't provoke in her the same emotional impact that someone caused in the past, she will get frustrated even if you are doing everything right. And there lies the greatest danger. No matter how much you try, she doesn't compare you to a real man. She compares you to an edited memory, to a feeling that may not even exist anymore, or that never existed as she remembers it. And you bend, you adapt, you mold yourself, trying to be the man she wants. But that man doesn't exist. He is a collage of ex-lovers, intense nights, marked absences, fleeting orgasms. And your biggest mistake is believing that you can defeat him by just being you. You are not the first, nor will you be the last. But you can be the only one to realize this before losing yourself trying to be unforgettable for someone who forgets quickly. Because if she has been here before and came out unscathed, maybe she is just waiting for the next exit. You don't compete with the first love, you compete with everything that came after it and didn't work. Charles Bukowski. And the worst place to love is inside a silent comparison. If this truth resonated with you, tell me. She smiles, she kisses you, she says she trusts you, but deep down something retracts, as if her body says yes, while her soul remains on alert. You notice it in the small gestures, the delay in relaxing, the gaze that gets lost in the middle of a conversation, the caress that ends before it begins. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but it's there. It has always been. And the name of that is emotional memory, a silent poison you will inherit without even having touched the cup. You want to love, you want to care, you want to be the safe harbor, the antidote, the final point of her pain. But what you may not yet understand is that she still misses what hurt her. And that's not her fault. It's psychic programming. It's neurochemistry. It's her brain associating chaos with pleasure, pain with excitement, unpredictability with love. Everything that is intense becomes addictive, even suffering. Carl Jung. You can offer peace, and she will wonder why she is bored. You can be consistent, present, reliable, and she will miss the flutter in her stomach she felt with the man who disappeared for days, because the desire she learned to feel was mixed with abuse, confusion, and flight. And now stability seems like a punishment to her. Have you ever tried to hold sand with your open hands? That's what it feels like to love a woman who carries unresolved traumas. The kinder you are, the more distant she seems. The more you care for her, the more she protects herself. Because deep down, she doesn't believe that love can come without a cost, without pain, without a crisis. You think you're with her, but in reality, you're fighting a war against her unconscious, where you are guilty of crimes you never committed. If her ex betrayed her, your kindness seems like a facade. If the other one manipulated her, your leadership seems like control. If she was sexually used, your desire for her seems like exploitation. You become the mirror of the wounds you haven't healed, and sooner or later, you will be punished for them. We love according to how we have been wounded, and we demand cure where we should offer reciprocity. Erich Fromm. In that dynamic, the man becomes a therapist, father, priest, martyr. He tries to sustain not only the relationship, but also the history of pain that came before him. And the question that never falls silent is, how many wounds of other men are you willing to inherit until you stop being yourself? The traumatized woman is not bad, but she is often unconscious. She doesn't realize that she is testing you based on deficiencies that are not even yours. And you, out of love, accept the test. You want to prove that you are different. You want to show that you are worthy. But be careful. You can spend your life trying to save someone who only feels alive when they are drowning. Trauma doesn't teach you to love. It teaches you to resist love. Gabor Mate. And this is where the cycle closes, because the desire that should unite you becomes a battlefield. She desires you, but fears surrendering. You desire to love her, but you live on eggshells, and what should have been an encounter becomes containment. Men were not made to carry guilt they did not create, nor to prove that they are different from everyone else. You are not there to reprogram her past. You are there to build the present. But as long as she remains trapped between desire and trauma, she will sabotage everything that seems healthy, because it was in chaos where she learned to feel alive, and maybe she is still not ready to live for real. She closes her eyes when you touch her, but you know that silence is not surrender. It is the presence of someone else, someone who is not there, but is there because her body remembers, her mind filed it away, and now, even though you are the one holding her, it is the gestures of another man that still resonate. Few dare to admit it, but sex is not just a body, it is a ritual. Every time she gives herself, she is not just being penetrated, she is being rewritten. And every previous chapter leaves a scar that you don't see, but you feel. The soul retains every caress like an unread letter. Elenesis. You love her. You want to be different. But every time you try to lead her to real intimacy, you feel a cold distance, an invisible barrier, a kind of emotional exhaustion she can't explain. You think, am I not doing it right? But the truth is more cruel. Maybe you're doing it too well, and she unconsciously misses what was wrong. The human mind is molded by repetition and chemistry, oxytocin, dopamine, adrenaline. She was trained to react to emotional peaks, to orgasms filled with urgency, guilt, or fear. And now when you love her with calm, she feels empty. Because it's not your caress that makes her uncomfortable. It's the absence of the trauma to which she became addicted. We don't become addicted to people. We become addicted to the sensations they arouse in us. Esther Perel. And here the ghost enters, not the one from horror stories, but the invisible specter of past experiences that still live inside her. The man who made her climax between tears, the one who rejected her after a wild night, the one who said, "I love you," right after sex and never showed up again. Those men marked her more than she would like to admit. And now, even if you are whole, respectful, present, you are judged by an excitement that does not belong to you. She wants to feel the same thing she felt before, but without the consequences. And you, without knowing it, compete with scenes that revive in silence. Every time she disconnects during the act, every sigh that seems automatic, every distant look after orgasm, there is a ghost. And the worst part is, you can't exorcise it because it's not outside, it's in her, in the way she learned to feel pleasure, in the confusing mixture of desire and self-destruction, in the difficulty of separating excitement from suffering. The body speaks what the mind tries to forget. Wilhelm Reich. And you begin to feel insufficient. You begin to question your virility, your presence, your potency. But the truth is, you are not being judged by who you are. You are being compared to what already happened and to what is still toxic and still beats in her memory. Sex should be an encounter, but many times it becomes a tribunal where you are the accused and the jurors are the echoes of the lovers she never got over. If she never made peace with her sexual past, you will never be truly free with her, because every attempt at intimate connection will be an invasion of an occupied territory. And love, when it competes with poorly resolved memories, loses. So understand, you can be the best man, but if she is still tied to experiences that confuse pain with desire, it will never be enough because she is still divided. You feel it, the absence in the caress, the gaze that doesn't find yours. Maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's about all the others who still inhabit her body. The bed is not for two, it is for those who have forgotten the rest. Roland Barthes. If you got here, It's because you can bear to face the invisible. You think you are in love, but if you look deeper, you might realize what you feel is exhaustion, not from loving, but from trying to repair, from carrying what is not yours. As if instead of loving a woman in the present, you were trying to save all the wounded versions of her from the past. She told you difficult stories of men who betrayed her, who lied, who disappeared, and you, without realizing it, committed to being different, to being the opposite of everything that hurt her. But the problem is not only in what they did to her, it is in what she did with it. You became the silent therapist, the emotional redeemer, the new beginning she so desperately wanted. But does she really want to start over, or just distract herself from the pain? He who tries to save another from their own abyss ends up sinking with them. Carl Jung, you mold yourself, you shut up, you endure, and you think that's what love is. Enduring the unbearable until she notices that you are different. But all your giving becomes a demand, all your patience a routine. And one day she looks at you and says, "You've changed." But you didn't change. You just got tired of paying for sins you didn't commit. The truth is, you are not competing with her ex. You are competing with the pain he left. And she remains attached to that pain because, in a way, that's where she learned to feel, even if it was in the wrong way. We don't become addicted to people. We become addicted to the sensations they provoked in us. Esther Perel, and what do you provoke? Peace. But for someone who was molded in chaos, peace is strange. It's too much silence. It's too little stimulus. And then she pulls away. Not because you did something wrong, but because you don't make her feel what the trauma made her feel. You're not loving her. You're trying to prove that love is still possible. You're trying to show that not every man hurts. But brother, that's not love. It's sacrifice. And the question is, who is sacrificing you? Her or yourself? If you got here, you might already know the answer. You're not losing your mind. What you feel, that emptiness, that nameless frustration, that effort without reward is real. You tried. You gave yourself. You were more than anyone would have been. But she is not seeing you. She is looking back. Her past is not a simple detail. It's an emotional minefield where you walk unarmed, believing that love will protect you. But love, my friend, without clarity becomes a trap. You are not here to fix anyone. You are here to live fully, and sometimes living fully requires leaving the life of someone who only knows how to love in pieces. You know? I've been in that place, not with the same pains, but with the same impulse to want to be the man who heals. I remember one night she was crying about her traumas. I listened in silence, holding her hand as if that were enough. And deep down, a part of me was dying because I realized that she still belonged to another time, to another man, to another pain. And I was just a bandage placed over a wound that never wanted to heal. Waking up was painful, but it was also liberating. If this video woke you up too, then it was worth it. Oh, and don't forget to click the link in the description or in the first pinned comment to see the full content about the mental model that has helped thousands of people stop reacting as they did before and start responding with strength, clarity, and control. If this video made you think, or if it hurt more than it should, like it. It costs nothing. It's free and does not involve any emotional healing process. Comment here how many ghosts you've tried to get out of your bed. Subscribe to the channel or you'll end up coming back here all broken, looking for answers that are already in front of you. And those videos you see on the screen, don't touch them. They are dangerous. They might make you think more than your therapist allows. I'll see you there, or in numbers.